will start now. Okay, so in last lecture we have discussed about the drugs which are used as coagulant. Today we will go for the drugs which are used as anticoagulants. Okay, as the name itself indicates, what are anticoagulants? These are the agents which will act or which will oppose the action of coagulants. Okay, or these are the agents which reduce the coagulability of the blood. Okay, so anticoagulants are the agents or the drugs which reduce the coagulability of the blood. Okay, now there are some terms which are required for you to know, like thrombus. Okay, where do we use the word thrombus? Thrombus का मतलब होता है blood clot. ओके और कभी जब आप बुक पढ़ोगे वहां पे आपको लिखा हुआ मिलेगा आर्टीरियल थ्रोम्बोसिस. So what is arterial thrombosis? It is the adherence of platelets to arterial walls. Okay, whenever the platelets get adhered to arterial wall, okay, it is called as thrombosis, and it is usually white in color. And where you will see the arterial thrombosis, it is generally associated with myocardial infarction, stroke and ischemia. Okay, now why we have to use anticoagulant? So if a person is having arterial thrombosis, venous thrombosis, thromboembolism, in these conditions the anticoagulants are required to be used. So what is venous thrombosis? Okay, so it is the development of thrombus in the veins. It develops in the area where there is stagnation of blood flow. जब blood flow किसी particular vein में रुक जाता है, okay, when the blood flow stops for some time in a particular vein, then there is development of a thrombus or clot. Okay, and it is usually red in color, and this is usually associated with congestive cardiac failure, any surgery or cancer. So what is the difference between the venous thrombus and the arterial thrombus? You can see that arterial thrombus किस कलर का होता है? White कलर का होता है, and if you will see the venous thrombus, it is usually red in color. Okay, now what is the difference between thrombus and embolus? See, whenever a clot is formed inside any of our blood vessels, that is called as the thrombus, and when that clot moves from the point of its formation to some other blood vessel and blocks that blood vessel, that is called as embolus, or you can say an embolus is a floating clot. Okay, so that is the difference between embolus and thrombus. See, it is mentioned here also that thrombus dislodge from arteries and veins and become an embolus. So what is embolus? It is a floating clot, or you can say it is a floating thrombus. Okay, now venous embolus can block the arterioles in the lung and pulmonary circulation, and this is called as thromboembolism. Okay, what is embolus? It is the floating clot, and when it blocks the arterioles of your lungs and pulmonary circulation, then that condition is called as thromboembolism. Okay, now we come to this slide. All of you might have read this in HAP in first year, the coagulation pathway or the clotting pathway. See, there are two pathways of coagulation. One is intrinsic pathway and one is extrinsic pathway. Whenever there is tissue injury, whenever there is some external injury, then what will happen? There will be release of tissue factor from that particular tissue. Understood? And that tissue factor will cause the activation of thromboplastin. And due to this thromboplastin, what will happen? Factor 7 will be converted into factor 7A, which is the active form of factor 7. ओके, तो सबसे पहले टिश्यू इंजुरी होती है. टिश्यू इंजुरी जैसे ही होगी, व्हाट विल बी रिलीज? टिश्यू फैक्टर विल बी रिलीज. दिस टिश्यू फैक्टर इज एक्चुअली द थ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन. This thromboplastin will cause the activation of factor 7 to factor 7A. In the presence of factor 3 and calcium, what will happen? Factor 10 will be converted into factor 10A. जहाँ पे भी A लिखा है, that is the active form. Okay, now the factor 10 has been activated. Okay, now if you will see the intrinsic pathway, whenever there is a internal injury or whenever there is a injury to any blood vessel, what will happen? There will be activation of factor 12. Factor 12 will be converted into factor 12A. In the presence of high molecular weight kininogen, what will happen? This factor 12A will activate the factor 11. Okay, after activation, this factor 11A in the presence of calcium will activate factor 9. Okay, to form factor 9A, that is the activated form of factor 9. Now this factor 9A will cause the activation of factor 10. So you can see in intrinsic pathway as well as in extrinsic pathway, in both the cases there is activation of factor 10. Okay, after the activation of factor 10, the pathway is common for both, whether it is intrinsic pathway or extrinsic pathway. So what will happen after the activation of factor 10? This will cause the activation of prothrombin, or you can say this will cause the conversion of prothrombin into thrombin in the presence of factor 5. Okay, this thrombin will cause the conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin monomer, and this fibrin monomer will finally be converted into fibrin polymer with the help of activated factor 13. Okay, so this is the clotting mechanism which takes place in our body. Understood all of you? So now we go to the next slide. Why it is required to know the clotting factor? Why it is essential to know the clotting pathway? Because जो भी drugs कोएगुलेशन में के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है या एंटी कोएगुलेंट एक्शन के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, they all will act on one or the other point in this pathway only. Okay, उनका mechanism of action किस पे होगा? On this pathway only. So that is why it is essential to discuss this. Now we go further. So if you will see the classification of anticoagulant agent, they are basically of two types. One is parenteral and one is oral. Okay, as all of you know, parenteral anticoagulant में which is the major drug? Heparin. Heparin is also available in the form of low molecular weight heparin. Heparinoids. What is heparinoid? It is actually the heparin sulfate, denaperoid, lapirudine and encrod. So these are the parenteral anticoagulant agents. And इसमें से हम कौन सा पढ़ेंगे? We will concentrate on heparin. Next is your oral anticoagulant. Oral anticoagulant में the first one is coumarin derivative and the major drug is warfarin sodium. So warfarin sodium is a coumarin derivative. It is an oral anticoagulant drug, and warfarin is a drug which is having narrow therapeutic index. So it can be asked in your exam. Name an anticoagulant which is having narrow therapeutic index. So that is your warfarin. Okay, and it is given by oral route. Next is your indane-dione derivative, and the example is phenydione. And these are the newer anticoagulants. See, there are certain drugs which will directly inhibit the thrombin. हमने अभी coagulation pathway में देखा. See this, prothrombin is converted into thrombin. So there are certain drugs जो directly thrombin को inhibit करते हैं, and if they will inhibit the thrombin, what will happen? The fibrinogen will not be converted into fibrin, and there will be no formation of clot. Okay, so these are the new drugs which are available. An example is Pradaxa. It is the marketed name, and it is also called as dabigatran ataxilate. Okay, and second, newer anticoagulants are, they produce their action by acting on factor 10A directly. Are you getting? So factor 10A को directly inhibit करते हैं. All of you know the, see this pathway. So now from here you can understand there are some drugs which are newly available. They act on directly on factor 10A and inhibit the factor 10A. So if you will inhibit the factor 10A, there will be no conversion of prothrombin into thrombin, and the following steps will be inhibited. Okay, in the same way जो दूसरा class हमने पढ़ा वो क्या पढ़ा? There are certain drugs which directly inhibit the thrombin. Okay, so I think you have understood. Now we go directly to the heparin. Heparin is the parenteral anticoagulant which is most widely used. Okay, and it was actually discovered by a scientist whose name was MacLean, and he isolated this substance heparin from the liver. Okay, and its name, this drug was named as heparin by Howell and Holt. They were the scientists who have named heparin, and heparin is actually obtained from animal source, and therefore it is required to be properly extracted and purified before use in human beings. It is a strong organic acid having high molecular weight 10,000 to 30,000 daltons. Okay, now see, we will see the mechanism of action. अभी मैंने आपको coagulation pathway बताया. Now from there you can correlate. See, what is the mechanism of action? Heparin binds to antithrombin 3. ओके, नाउ एंटीथ्रोम्बिन 3 कहाँ से आया? यहाँ पे हमारा कोएगुलेशन पाथवे में एंटीथ्रोम्बिन कहीं पे नहीं है, ओनली थ्रोम्बिन इज देयर. सो एंटीथ्रोम्बिन, व्हाट इज एंटीथ्रोम्बिन? इट इज अ नेचुरली अकरिंग एंटीकोएगुलेंट विच इज ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट इन आवर ब्लड. ओके, हमारी बॉडी का खुद का अपना मैकेनिज्म होता है. वेन एवर एंटीकोएगुलेंट एक्शन इज रिक्वायर्ड इनसाइड आवर बॉडी, एंटीथ्रोम्बिन 3 गेट्स एक्टिवेटेड एंड इट कॉजेज द एंटीकोएगुलेशन. ओके, सो heparin जो होता है, where it acts, it binds with the antithrombin 3 which is already present in our body and causes the formation of a complex which is called as heparin antithrombin 3 complex. Okay, so सबसे पहले आपको क्या याद रखना है? There is a naturally occurring anticoagulant in our body. Heparin goes and binds to this naturally occurring anticoagulant which is called as antithrombin 3 and causes the formation of a complex. Okay, and now what this complex does, it inactivates these factors which are written in the bracket. It inactivates factor 12A, factor 11A, factor 10A, factor 13A, factor 2 and factor 9. It means it inactivates almost all the clotting factors which we have just seen in the coagulation cascade. Okay, सबको inhibit कर रहा है. See this, almost all the factors. 12A, it is also inhibited. Okay, 13A is also inhibited, 2 is also inhibited. Okay, 2 is not mentioned here, but 2 is also inhibited. So almost all the factors, clotting factors are inhibited by the complex of heparin antithrombin 3. Okay, so but the major anticoagulant effect is exerted by the inhibition of factor 10A and thrombin. Okay, it inhibits almost all the factors, but major जो anticoagulant action है वो क्यों देखने को मिलता है हमें? Because of inhibition of factor 10A and thrombin. Okay, now we go to the next slide. As you can see this pathway, this is your intrinsic pathway, this is your extrinsic pathway. Okay, intrinsic pathway में 12A से 11A, all this we have read. Okay, so see what is mentioned here. This is your heparin. Heparin binds with antithrombin 3 and inhibits factor 10A and thrombin. Okay, as a result there is no formation of the clot. And if you will see this another drug, it is mentioned here, hirudin. Hirudin is a directly acting antithrombin agent which directly inhibits the antithrombin. Understood all of you? heparin क्या करता है? एंटीथ्रोम्बिन को इनहिबिट नहीं करता है. हेपारिन एंटीथ्रोम्बिन के साथ एक कॉम्प्लेक्स बना लेता है and that complex inactivates the other factors. Whereas there is a drug called as hirudin. This is a direct antithrombin inhibitor. Okay, so I think you have understood this. Heparin in higher doses inhibit the platelet aggregation and prolongs the bleeding time. Okay, and very important, the third pharmacological action which you can see is lipemia clearing. What is lipemia? नाम से ही पता चल रहा है that it is associated with the lipids. But for the lipemia clearing, less dose of heparin is required. Now what is lipemia? नाम से ही पता चल रहा है, lipo means lipid and emia means blood. So whenever there is increase in the lipids level in our blood, which causes a type of turbidity in the blood. Okay, क्योंकि क्या होता है, fats are generally white in color, yellowish in color, so they make the blood turbid. And what this does, it causes the release of, what heparin does, it causes the